And welcome to another episode of Schiffbauer Over Rocks. We got a fun one today, everybody. That being said, we got Andy and Bodhi.
Pleasure.
From Twitter, believe it or not. I just met Bodhi like an hour ago, shooting the shit with him outside, smoking some cigars. And Andy, we met like 3-4 hours ago, like last summer?
Yeah, like 3 hours last summer. I heard, listened to you on Mason's pod, put the pod down, messaged you right away. I was like, bro, we're like 2 hours away from each other. We got to meet up. You gave me your number right away. And then it was like a week later, I think I came down pretty much.
It's like, it was just really organic.
We met here. We had a cigar. Yeah, that was fun.
It was really cool. I appreciate you just reaching out.
Yeah, I'm glad we did it. I'm glad. Yeah. Dude, now we're here. Now we're doing this. It's cool.
It's just like kind of half the battle anything when you just reach out to someone like, hey, what's up? And you did it.
Yeah. It's
Otherwise, I'd be like, at first I'm like, who the fuck's this guy?
Yeah.
Like, I'll meet up with him. It'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, you just have to, like, any opportunity in life, you just have to, like, put yourself out there a little bit. You know what I mean? It's going to be, like, a little uncomfortable. It's like, you had me, I was coming here, and I'm, like, driving through the hood, like, getting here. And I'm like, where is this guy taking me to right now? And then I, like, turn and park, and I was like, oh, this is an okay area. This is nice. But then I walk into the shop, empty, don't see anybody. And I'm like, I'm getting set up right now. I'm like, it's empty.
Can you imagine if I punked you?
Yeah, that was... Yeah.
Let's go to a cigar shop.
That was funny. That was a good time.
It was just interesting. So you, at the time when I first met you, before I just met you today, you were just kind of like freelancing. Just kind of getting your feet wet with a couple clients.
Pretty much just the idea. Like, I just had the idea that I might step into this world, pretty much is what it was.
And this was just like a year ago before recording this. So tell a little bit more people out there where you are now, what you and Bodhi do.
Yeah. Bodhi, don't let me talk over you if you don't butt in, whatever. But
he's gonna cut you off in a good way.
Bodhi and I met in like 2018 through an investment group on Discord, and then
Discord.
We talked like agency model, money, Twitter-ish, stuff. And Bodhi came to me. We talked about that we could potentially, like, it was a thing that could be done. We could do it. He came to me. He's like, yo, I got a website that we can build for somebody. And I was like, all right, I'm down. I know how to code. I did it. And then it snowballed from there. He's like, hey, I have a roofer who needs a website. I have someone who wants to do SEO and like eventually learning Google Ads. And it all started pretty much January 1st. We started with like $0 in revenue January 1st. Yep. And now we're tracking for about 100,000 this year, probably first year.
Which is really impressive.
Things are going smooth.
Just the fact that you guys starting this off and the fact that like you both have like gigs outside of this right now currently while you're scaling it.
Yeah.
I'm running two businesses right now. I have a dumpster rental business and I'm doing this. My dumpster rental business helps a lot for us because
Oh, you're good.
We target dumpster rental companies.
First time on camera.
Yeah, it's my first time on camera. We target dumpster rental companies and junk removal companies, which is a big selling point for us. And that's what we're running ads for. I was able to rank my own company #1 on Google Maps with SEO, and that's how me and Andy collabed with one another. And it just helped a lot for selling it to other companies and helping plenty of other companies around the country grow their online presence.
And do you feel like your perspective for running your own business is a big value add for your clients now on the agency side?
Yeah, it's definitely a value add because I'm able to like see what these guys are doing and what it's like to run the business day to day. So I know the hardships they go through because I deal with it myself.
Yeah. I think you hit on a really good point where when you're dealing with business owners, I feel like the guard goes down when you say like, hey, I used to be a business owner. I'm a business owner too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's huge. Like their guard lets down, right? It's like, hey, they know that we are also involved in this too. Like we're not just like some outside third party with no experience.
You're not a Hi-Boo or He-Boo.
Yeah. Like it forms a more personal relationship from that point on for sure. I would say that's like, that you bring a huge value for us with that. Like that's a huge selling point for us.
I'm also able to show like I was able to grow. I started my business with 25 dumpsters. Now we have 50 dumpsters. I'm able to show.
Holy shit, that's a lot, dude.
Yeah, I was able to double it within like 2 to 3 years, all just from online marketing with a digital presence. Like we took over a business that had no Google My Business profile, no website, and I just went all in on marketing.
You need to make a video, not necessarily even VSL, like a story of that.
Yeah.
How it led to Stryker.
Because I just doubled my business within 2 years. Like we did like 300 revenue. We did 650,000 last year, and like I just got thrown into the mix out of college, and like I've just been doing it since.
I want to touch on real quick. You said like money Twitter with talking in Discord. What's your favorite money Twitter account? Like current or even old?
Are we talking like with a face?
It don't matter.
Someone with a face.
I got one, but it's like a certain era of his account.
Yeah, I would say from Bodhi's new. I put
he put
Bodhi
me on
on.
Twitter.
Like now he's dumpster rental guy, but I put him on to
That's
it.
such a hard ass handle.
Because before that, the dude had like 4 different Twitter accounts. I like followed 4 different Twitter accounts.
I had burner accounts. And,
Dude, one to tweet at airlines and say your shit's messed up.
And
One
I
to
get airline credits.
Airline burner.
Yeah. That's strictly airline or business burner. I type in Google My Business. You just suspended our 3rd profile for no reason. Can we resolve this?
You piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say for me, well, I found you through Mason, but Mason was like the first one that like, he's a good communicator. I resonated with him. I felt like we're similar in a lot of aspects. And I was like, okay, Mason's a normal dude. Like he is super smart, but he's not like some like crazy genius, right? But like he knows how to network. He knows how to communicate. Yeah. I'm not saying he's not, he's definitely super smart, but I was like, like anybody can do this. Like he gave you that sense of like, I was like 20 years old and I just did this in this time frame. This is how I did it. And
it's not gimmicky with him either. He's just like
he's super authentic.
Young guy in his early 20s, just like this is how I did it.
Young hustler.
I know him and I had a conversation. He's like a mentee of like Chase Diamond. He's really big in the email like marketing side of things.
Yeah, really big, right? Like he runs like a big.
Him and Chase have a very good relationship. I actually had the opportunity to talk to Chase at one point. Did a pod with him.
Yeah,
really smart guy. He's got like
seems
SOPs
like a nice
down.
guy.
He's a nice family guy. He's got a nice like young family.
Mm-hmm.
So and he's not flashy either. That's the crazy thing. Like he's not one of these guys where like flexing like a rollie or anything, living in Miami. He's just some dude with like a young wife and I believe 1 kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just super low profile other than like talking about like email marketing.
Yeah, but that's the dream though.
Yeah, no, like he's living his own dream, which is really cool.
Yeah, he has creative freedom. He runs a business. He gets to like, what the coolest thing is since we brought on one employee is being able to do nice things for them.
Yeah.
That's like, I hear people talk about it too. Like we're not at the level where we have like a significant team or anything like that, but it's super fun to like be able to build your culture and like reward people for doing really good work. That's super cool. Mm-hmm. It's fun to do. It's like kind of like a big brother thing a little bit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like,
but even for our clients, like it's amazing when our clients is like, we're booked out all week. Like that's an amazing feeling to hear. Like we're booked out all week because of your pay-per-click stuff. Like
to me, that's where I'm in this game.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
And then like I text Andy, I'm like, dude, I love hearing stuff like that because I know that feeling and like I know what it's like to live that, and it just helps. Helps everything.
The way I view it too, like some of my longer term engagements that I've had, it's just like you see these companies grow when you partner with them and like present these opportunities and help them generate these opportunities. And then you hear like they go from like 2 crews to like 4.5 crews, and you're like, you're literally helping them feed families.
Yeah, that's what
you're giving people jobs, which is really crazy to think about.
But then when Google suspends profiles for no reason, we're like, these people are losing money like because of Google's antics over nothing.
Yeah, and I get Google's awful.
Google's awful, but they have a stronghold on all our businesses.
But I get it from where they're cracking down.
Yeah,
especially with like the verification, like Google My Business pages.
Yeah,
it's just because some of these guys, they show up, throw a page, and they're not legitimate businesses.
Yeah.
So I get that argument where like you need like what Google's going to essentially, you need actually a physical address.
Yep.
You almost can't operate out of your home anymore.
No.
Unless you have very strict parameters depending on what you do.
Your service area.
P.O. boxes, that doesn't work anymore.
Doesn't work anymore, no.
So I get the parameters they're like putting in place.
And when we got into the business, it's when it first really just started happening, and like
past a year,
we're just reacting to it like a cat. Like it's just happening out of nowhere.
I mean, I just circled back with clients. I did recaps on my end with folks just to get ahead of them. It's just like, hey, like we need to verify your profile from even an advertiser standpoint. Mm-hmm. This extra verification level that's coming in. Like some of them, like we've already had deadlines. I had a gentleman, he was suspended over a month because like it was a backlog item for him.
Yeah,
brought it up more than once, and it's just like, well, I'm ready to start because it's seasonal. Runs more like spring summer ads, and we're like, it was just like biting teeth because like he kept getting declined with the verification. So I'm telling folks now, it's like, if we don't get this done, you can't advertise.
You can't do anything.
And you're bottlenecked.
Yeah.
What we're doing.
Yep.
Where your investment's going.
The way I would prefer that Google would go, because like I get it, you need to have a verification process because you can't have anybody just making a profile and replicating a competitor and making them look bad.
That's where I
scamming.
Support what they're doing, but it is.
Yeah. There needs to be a process, but one thing that I wish that they would offer is pay. pay $500 a year to have your Google business profile and or
I
better
think that
customer
might
service.
actually help a lot of problems. It weeds out
or at least
Yeah.
the customer service team. Like if I could call up my Google My Business representative and say, hey, what's going on with my profile? Like I'm a real business.
Well, also something like that Andy mentioned.
Yeah.
You weed out like the chuck in a truck
Exactly.
kind of guys. We're like, I ain't paying that.
Yeah, exactly.
Tarnation, I ain't paying $500 for my GMB profile. I ain't fucking doing that shit.
Exactly. It's just anytime you can add even as an agency owner, there's disqualifications that we have. You can't meet these criterias, then we might not be a good fit to work together. That's just a way to disqualify people who aren't serious. Or even local areas, you don't want businesses that somehow pop up in your top 3 that aren't active and things like that. Because if you have an annual payment, it means your business is still active. You didn't shut down. Because a lot of people, imagine how many people shut down, but their profile's still out there and being contacted by people too.
Yeah, no, it's just not fair.
Yep.
We're talking money Twitter. You said Mace. Any particular accounts you follow?
Honestly, Alex Hormozy and Gary Vee are 2 people that they're not really money Twitter, but they're 2 people that's influenced me a lot just in business in general and just growing up in business. Gary Vee through college, instead of paying attention in marketing class, I was just listening to Gary Vee the whole time because he actually taught me stuff about marketing that class was teaching me nonsense about, just print ads and whatnot, which doesn't work today.
Yeah, no.
Consumer surveys,
market research, which does have its impact, but it's just to
different.
What degree?
Case studies on Colgate, Harvard case studies on Colgate. Why am I reading this? I was growing a little smaller financial blog in college. Our slogan was informing young investors on the importance of financial freedom, because coming out of college and coming out of high school, you don't learn anything about personal finance. You don't. You make the biggest decision of your life to go to college.
Essentially leveraging all this debt.
Yeah, you were supposed to make a big decision at 18 years old to go to college, pay $180,000 for gender studies. Yeah. And then you have all this debt. You amassed all this debt. You come out of college and you can't find a job. And you're like, what do I do now? I have all this debt. I can only get a minimum wage job. How am I going to pay this off?
I didn't really learn any monetizable skills or anything like that.
I had one good thing about your college is they had a couple professors in their business program who real deal Holyfield. Either they had legitimate running businesses at the time, or they come from a legitimate background previously where they, did something for 20, 30 years as a professional or business owner and sold it off, or they're more smaller scale in what they're doing at that point. Those are the best professors that I had.
No, so I had an entrepreneurship teacher in college. They actually had a class for entrepreneurship.
Oh.
He's a big commercial real estate guy. He's a millionaire, owns thousands of properties all over.
He was a professor.
He's an adjunct professor. He's on the board of our school, but he'll actually get dumpsters from me now if a tenant's, and I reached out to him right after college. I was like, yo,
kudos to you.
I'm doing this dumpster business. If you ever need a dumpster, a roll-off dumpster for anything, let me know. And he's used me a couple times now. And I've actually had the school rent dumpsters from me because I made those connections with him who's on the board. So I met my business partner in college, so it's definitely been worth it, but there's some other stories of people in college where it's just awful.
Oh yeah, it's just you're just there.
You're just there, yeah.
And it's a great social experience. I didn't really get the full benefit. I commuted.
Yeah. We all commuted. All 3 of us right here all commuted.
Yeah. We're all entrepreneurs now. Yeah.
Funny, when I was in college, so I would visit friends at Penn State, Maine, Shippensburg, Millersville, which is around here. I would almost always get, if we were at a house party, people would be like, yo, what frat are you in? I would laugh. I'm a commuter, bro.
Yeah.
Wait, you're not in a frat? I could have swore you're in a frat. I'm like, no. I just party and have a good time.
Yeah. I wasn't where I went to school. I went to a Penn State branch. You ever hear? No, Williamsport. You've heard of Williamsport. So we have Penn College, which is a branch of Penn State, but it was just the whole school was it's mainly a commuter school. We had snow days and stuff there because everybody commuted versus a regular college where everybody lived on campus.
Where they would normally go to school,
Yeah, I went for physical therapy, but a lot of the programs are diesel mechanic, electrical engineer, heavy construction, and things like that. But it was I don't know. It wasn't just my college wasn't Bloomsburg or Millersville or anything no Shippensburg or anything like that.
We would joke because I grew up in Southern York County.
Yeah.
Shippensburg was Susquehanna High School, year 13, 14, 15, 16. A lot of people went from there to there. But from a cultural standpoint.
What did you go for?
I went for business admin marketing management concentration.
Nice.
Always been like, not always, but like I got the entrepreneurial bug in like high school. I just didn't have, like my dad had a small business. I just wasn't ready to like, you know.
Yeah, it's a leap. It's a confidence leap, right?
Yes.
It's a mental barrier, and that's something we had when we started like breaking out with our business. I tweeted about it. I was like, literally, the only thing holding you back is like these constructs inside your own head. Like literally, we've like cold messaged our way into conversations with people that are definitely worth 7-8 figures, and it's like, okay, now I realize like business is just like someone has a problem, you have a skill that can solve that problem. Yeah. That's all business is. You're either save them time or make them money. That's business.
Biggest podcast guest I had on here, in hindsight, I drunk tweeted.
Really?
So it was Brianna Chicken Fry. You familiar with her?
Yeah, you had her on this podcast?
Yeah, dude.
Holy shit.
When she was an intern, she just got hired at Barstool.
That's awesome. In this room?
No, she was still in Ohio at the time. She just dropped out. My one buddy worked at like a Barley House, was like the go-to like club out there in Cleveland.
Wow.
He was a bar back at the time. And she was like, would go to Barley, like knew of her, and like, I just followed her because I thought she was just kind of fucking funny for like
cool
a
girl.
chick. Yeah, cool chick. I'm just like, Colin, I'm gonna send her something. Yeah. It was a bar back buddy of mine. I'm like, do you just want to like hop on my podcast? She's like, yeah, sure. And like at Barley, like we'll do it at Barley House. Like I added Colin, added her. I'm like, well, she just gave me a fucking follow on Twitter. It's like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So Colin's like, all right, here's the deal. He's like, we can do it at Barley. Like I'll comp all the drinks, but like I have to be your co-host. He's never been on a podcast prior or anything. I'm like, sure, dude. And he's fucking hilarious, Colin. He's literally like, you ever see The Big Lebowski?
I haven't, no.
I know that is.
Nah, he's like...
Who?
I know. I was talking about that with somebody recently, and they're like, you haven't seen that? And I thought it was you for some reason.
You might have to rip that off the Yorktown like DVR tonight or something. Well, he's just like this chill dude. So we do the podcast. Marty and I, we went out. Marty filmed it in person. Shout out to Marty behind the camera right here.
Marty.
So we go out to Cleveland. We get to Barley House, and Colin's like, dude, welcome. He's like, here's my boss, Chris. And Chris is like, hey, dude, whatever you drink tonight, it's free. I'm like, is this what a celebrity? Like, I'm just some white dude from like York, PA, with like a really small podcast. So we drink and like we're having a good time that night. We wake up, dog shit early to meet her.
Yeah,
we're just smashing like White Russians like before she even gets there. But she was so professional. We had a great time, and then she blew up.
That's awesome.
This is like super cool.
Does that podcast still get a lot of views?
Couple hundred. It's just kind of like hidden out there. Like
yeah, it's hidden.
Like
that's a hidden gem, though.
You know that reminds me of is something I read. I was reading some book recently, but they're like, you're never going to get what you want if you don't ask for what you want.
Correct.
And all you gotta do is ask. Like what? It's no big deal. But like you know what? That holds a lot of people back. They're just like not willing to just like ask. It's
they
like,
don't think they're worthy of the ask.
Yeah.
To receive what they're asking for. Yeah. Typically.
That's why cold messaging's huge.
Yeah, and that's why people don't get girls.
I tell folks like I'm a better like business guy than I am a dating guy, but I've had my moments. But it's just like clients, it's like you're dating.
Yeah,
you're courting them.
That's what he says to me all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I got like 12.5 girlfriends right now.
Yeah.
Some love me, some are like just a little silent, distant.
Yeah.
There's ones who pain in the ass, but I still love them.
Some are long distance relationships.
Yeah. No, this is how I think about sales. So I had this experience. I dated this girl from high school into college. We broke up, and it's like didn't talk to girls in that way for a long time. So it's like, how do you get back into that mix? I remember I went to the beach with my friends. I just talked to every single girl I saw. I talked to them, struck out like
reps,
tons of times. Reps.
That's what I tell my single friends.
Sales.
And then we started on sales. Like, this is the same shit. All I need to do is get as many calls as I can. And by call 50, I'm going to be on. Like, I'll know all the different personalities. I know how to like maneuver my way through those conversations based off their tone and whatnot, Like it's the same thing.
It's literally the same thing. It's just apples and oranges.
Yeah, it's apples and oranges.
But I'll wrap up the money Twitter thing. I know he's very polarizing, this guy, but Cobra Tate, not now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This is like 3-4 years ago.
Really?
His shit was OD in terms of like the shit he would tweet.
I caught the end of him before he blew up.
He was
caught the end.
Huge troll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a series. I don't know if y'all ever saw it. It was a couple years ago. He's like, this guy says, I'm going to have the best night out in London ever. He's like, I'm documenting it. If I have a bad night, I'm punching him in the face. And he's like live tweeting it, like videos and clips and shit. And there's one point like he's like chasing him in his like one of his fucking sports cars because the guy left him because he's like, I'm having a fucking terrible night. Might be semi-staged, but like he's like tweeting like he said like 10s come to this bar. All I see is 5s.
Yeah,
like shit like that.
I'm out of here.
Like he's pissed. Yeah. It's so funny. Like live tweeting like that.
Yeah, I remember when I first, because I've been on Money Twitter for a while, but I just was like, would dip my feet in here and there, open up Twitter every now and then. But I remember I would be like recommended in like my For You or whatever, Tristan and Andrew's tweets, and like they were good back then. They were good.
They still produce good content, in my opinion.
Yeah,
people can get all a part of that misogyny bullcrap, but like they still post good stuff.
Oh yeah, no, you can get value from
You don't have to agree with everything about a person.
You don't have to agree with everything. Exactly.
Yeah, you can like parts of a person and dislike parts. Like, you know, I'm sure my wife doesn't like certain parts of me, but like she loves other parts of me, right? Like, feel the same.
I feel like you bring up an interesting point. I'll change the conversation a little bit. It's just, I feel like people like our generation.
Yeah.
It's like it's polarizing. If they don't like something about you, it's almost like let's cancel them. Like I don't like you.
Yeah.
Like they can't have negative aspects of people.
It's also about our generation, like the amount of data we've grown up with, like news sources pushing stuff at us. Like there's so much stuff we see every day. Like we wake up and scroll on our phone. So many opinions everywhere for us to think.
Like majority of people, not everybody, but there's redeeming qualities of people, even if they're like they might be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Or come off as a piece of shit like with their interactions. It's like there's some kind of good person or good like, you know, woman in that qualities typically.
Yep.
But I just feel like it's from like cancel culture standpoint, people just want to X out people completely.
Yeah.
They don't like something about them.
Well, especially they don't like. I like to do this. I like to deep dive people. So like you find Hormozy, like read the book, watch a ton of things. So like when people see their first clip of like Tate or somebody like that, right? They're going to see the only one that's going to pop up is going to be something polarizing because that's what's going to pop, and they're going to form their opinion off that one, maybe two, maybe three pieces of content. That's all they're going to see.
Like, I just thought of a Tate clip. I'll mention it in a minute, but go ahead.
But like that's all they're going to see, and they're going to form their whole opinion off that. And it's like, okay, you know, you're being shown what's polarizing right now. But like, let's go a little bit deeper into this. Like, let's watch like a Joe Rogan type, a long form. Yeah, like something like. If you sit down with someone like a politician or something like that, imagine if they had to talk for 3 hours. If they had to talk for 3 hours, like they would have to break character at some point, right? And like you would actually get to know who a person is after that period of time. But like a politician, you only see for like 45 seconds. They talk and they're gone. Like put them in a room with someone for 3 hours, and it's like you're going to know if you're real or not.
That's why I want like not to get too heavy in the politics. I want a Trump Rogan.
I was just thinking Trump.
I want to see it like 2-3 hours.
So I was at a restaurant last week actually, and Donald Trump Jr. was sitting at the bar, like
He's got great hair,
right in
even
front
if
of me.
It might be fake.
Yeah, he's sitting at the bar right in front of me, and he was just minding his own business. Like he's like not in the media. He's just having a martini and goes throughout his day.
That's cool, and I feel it's funny. Like when you see people like that, like
we're all normal people.
It's like Michael Phelps used to come to my dad's bar.
Yeah,
he was a regular at one point, and he had to stop because like he got like fat.
Yeah,
training for like the next Olympic cycle. But it's just like. They're people.
Yeah, they're just another human.
They want to chill out, you know, do their own little things.
Yeah, we all do our own things to relax. Like
people just freak out about like shit like that.
That's what I was getting about Mason. When I was saying that, I was like, he's like a normal dude. Like he like had me have that realization, like I'm normal as you. You know, I mean, we're the same person. I just chose to like direct my energy in this direction, and it results in what I have now. Pretty much, that's how I was thinking about it. Probably a little bit clearer to say it that way.
That's a good way to word it. So, in terms of like Stryker Digital or Stryker Agency?
Stryker Digital.
So let's make sure 100%. I don't like to get things wrong.
It was originally Stryker Design.
Yeah.
I like digital more because that could be confusing from a brand.
Yeah, that's why I would change
it. So it was a web design at first. We started with web design.
Which is fine. You know, that makes sense to name.
Hardest off
to SEO and Google Ads. It all just...
Digital makes sense.
It all just happened.
Yeah.
So, who do you really like service out there? Talk a little bit more about that. Like, who's like your ideal client and audience? Like, who do you really go out and help?
Dumpster rental and junk removal businesses. We have some pressure washing businesses, just local service-based businesses. But our bread and butter is dumpster rental and junk removal because I know so much about that business. I can consult anybody that's in the business about it because I have doubled my business in 3 years. So I could keep doing dumpsters and Stryker Digital. And if I double dumpsters again, I have 100 dumpsters, it'll just be easier for me to consult others in the business.
Larger, more power, more knowledge, things like that. But pretty much, you know, when we first started, it was like, who's going to give us the opportunity? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you got to
who,
get.
like,
I hate to say it, like you want to get your dick wet.
yeah.
You want to make some money and like.
So if it's like
You're
if someone
excited.
like I remember when I closed my first 200 a month deal, I was piped up.
Yeah.
I was ready. I was piped up.
We were sending each other Wolf of Wall Street memes.
Yeah. I was piped up, but now it's like so you have to because then you also get your reps and you learn back end. You just have to have clients because you can't like systematize what you don't know. So you have to like have those reps in to like build back end processes, know how to onboard, know how to communicate, know how to set expectations and things like that. But now it's like, all right, who has a marketing budget of X amount, you know, because we can't work like we were talking about it prior to coming on here, but like we can't work with people who are, I don't know if the right word, stingy or so, or just don't have the budget really, you know, like
They're not ready to invest at the level you can best serve them.
be long-term
That's a good way to
oriented.
word it.
That's how I try and disqualify people on our calls. Like, hey, we're looking to build a long-term relationship. We're going to invest a lot of energy and time into you. And we don't want to just do that for 1 month. Like you're not going to get the results you want to see in 1 month. This is going to take time. We need to put this stuff out there. We need to collect data on it. We need to iterate through the process and we need to make it better. You need to communicate with us what you're seeing on your end. You know, this is like after 6 months, we're going to be zipping. We're going to be doing good, but you have to be willing to sit with us through a time period to learn your area, your business, how you operate with your clients.
Great from an expectation standpoint.
We have a guy in Knoxville who started with just a dump trailer, and like we were telling him like you should get in the dumpsters. There's a big market there, and now he has 20 dumpsters, and they're all rented out this week. We have to pause his ads sometimes because he's too busy.
I had a gentleman. I actually made a Facebook post about him yesterday.
Yeah.
He's one of my best clients. Don't bill him the most, but he's one of my best clients. Is in terms of he bought into the process day one, and we slowly scaled him up.
Yep.
Since 2020, we've had him.
So
And
that's a good feeling.
At one point, we called it DU, a digital uplift, like our website process. Develop a website for him.
I like that frame. I like that frame of the digital
Uplift?
uplift. Yeah, I like that.
Typically, most of the time when we come in, we optimize websites that are like kind of laggy. So hence the uplift. Sometimes we do it from scratch. We still call it a DU.
Yeah.
You know, if we're building out.
I might steal that from you.
Yeah. I was thinking that. I need that.
You can white label license it. Give me royalties.
A little digital uplift.
It sounds a lot. It sounds nice.
I like that.
But this gentleman, we ran ads for him. I think it was spring of 2021. We started. He's like, Paul, we got to stop. I'm like, no. Is he like, what's up? Like, is it a budget thing? Like, he's like, dude, I can't service these guys. Like, I'm have
Great
so many
problem to have.
inquiries coming in organically and then paid.
Yeah.
Now, just because like organic opened up from because he had the website now, generated him opportunities. So he was just getting them from Facebook and like word of mouth and referrals beforehand. And then we started to do like the PPC on like Google and Facebook. And then he's like, dude, we got to pause. And we kicked back up in the fall. We never paused that since.
Yeah.
But he would tell you his friend, he's just like, I started with this, scaled up pretty heavily, and then I came to a point where like I was doing free estimates now. He charges for estimates as like a disqualifier.
Wow.
And he always like,
Because he knows who's going to pay or who isn't.
it's $75. It's worth his time to come out.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, I just bill it into the project. We end up doing it.
Yeah.
Or it's just like minus $75.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a testimonial with that guy?
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, I watched that. Like I said, I don't like do surface level stuff with people. I get like I know all about you. Anybody that I talk about, I'm like,
You didn't know all about me?
I know about like you know what I mean. Like I don't do surface level though. Like in
Really?
relationships, like when we first met, you said I was getting all philosophical. I'm like I don't do surface level like
No, I don't
relationships. Like I'm not trying
That's
to say
John
like
and I are.
what's
Shout
up,
out
how's the
John.
weather. Like I'm trying to like know you as a person.
We're
you
either
know?
friends or we're not friends.
Yeah.
If I don't know you, we're not friends. Like if I...
Because, dude, the small talk of the bar, and like, I got a lot of like friends and like good acquaintances. They're good people, but it's just like, you just have that small talk. I enjoy like shit like this.
Yeah.
Like
No,
we're
me
having
too.
a conversation like this without using
so
Apple mics
fun.
and camera, you know? To me, that's really rewarding.
I'm a member of something called the Sons of Italy. I go there every Wednesday. It's like an Italian social club in my town.
Nice. Okay.
And like, it's like
That's awesome.
It's like a 200 Italian guys. We come
That's
together
cool.
every Wednesday, and like I have a group of guys there where we sit around a table like this. There's like 6 of us, smoke cigars just like this,
Love that.
drink, and just talk about life. Like I only see them once a week, but like they're good friends of mine. If I needed them on a Friday,
You're
even
going
though
to call or text them if you
Yeah.
have like ask about like a personal
exactly,
issue or something.
yeah, or like
business.
We're all in connections. Like one of them owns a deli, one of them manages trucks. Like we all are in a business of some sort, and we could go to each other and lean on each other for anything we need.
Brotherhood is so important, and it
Yes.
even applies to like sisterhood if we're talking like gender dynamics. But like brotherhood, I think it's a lost art.
Yeah.
And we need more outlets like you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Like whatever it be these social clubs or like associations or just like getting the group informally with a group of guys, even if it's like via fucking Zoom call.
That's how me and him met, through investing brotherhood.
It's so important.
Yeah.
Like
Digital
we have
communities.
digital investing brotherhood. Like he was a part of it. I liked what his partner did. I'm posting shadow augury investing, but I like what his partner did and everything. And I got into their Discord chat in 2019, and like I got friends in there I've never even met before, but I talk to them every single day. And like
we talk every day.
Every day. And like I can go to them for anything. Like it brought me a network of people I would have never seen before, met before, and we all just talk on Discord online. Like we've never met. We're in other states, countries, and it's a brotherhood, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, those are the relationships that are invaluable.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Something I'm trying to start. So I'm moving to, for anyone listening, I'm moving to South Florida. I'm moving to Fort Lauderdale here next month. But so Tyler, that runs Augury Investing, he lives in Delray-ish area, somewhere around there. But something that we're trying to do, because he grew up there his whole life, so he knows a lot of people there, and people have started businesses, big businesses. One, I think, even publicly traded, the guy's CEO of. But so we're trying to get people who are like our age, like say 25 to 35, actually not age discriminate at all. Anybody can come, it doesn't matter. But I want to get together a dinner that happens once a month of just like founders, business owners, whatever, and just talk. Like, it's not there, like you're not there to do business, you're just there to talk, but like conversation flows into business and stuff, and like you help each other think through problems, because like there's businesses out there that are that like the guy from My First Million started Hampton. Have you heard about that?
No, I actually don't.
So it's basically like there's qualifications, like you have to have a 7-figure business, whatever.
That's okay.
But
that's good that certain associations have that though.
So you join, and then you're just a part of a community of business owners where you can just, hey, where do you hire a VA from? Where do you do this from? And you can just pop questions off each other. And like those communities are so valuable, which people didn't have access to 20 years ago. Now we do. And now we use that to our advantage. Like
I would have, it's like my unofficial informal business partner, met him via Twitter.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have that if we didn't have these, like the digital connections.
Me and him have never met either. We talk every day now.
It's like crazy. That's how
he's like my other girlfriend.
yeah. And in my iMessages, you know how you can like drag people up to like make them big in iMessage now? It's like Maddie, Bodhi, Mom, Dad.
I love that. It's great.
And I'll be out to dinner with my girlfriend. She's like, you gotta stop texting Andy. I'm like, yo, we got business to talk about. Like we're making deals right now. Like I'm paying for this dinner.
To do this right now.
Yeah, I gotta do this right now. Like
sometimes you got it.
Yeah,
it is like
that's
that.
the life we chose.
It's fun.
There's nothing
I wouldn't
better
trade for the world.
Yeah, there's nothing better. I could never imagine.
I'll take the
doing
shit
anything else.
over not having this life.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I could never imagine doing anything else. And I grew up around a lot of wealthy people, and I was like, I need that life for my kids because I want them to have a good life.
Aspire to that, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Damn. What else do we want to talk? What's your favorite movie? Let's get informal.
Shit.
A super.
I don't watch
I
movies.
like Interstellar, Inception. I'm going to watch Oppenheimer next weekend.
Oppenheimer.
So any Christopher Nolan movies.
You saw Oppenheimer?
Wolf of Wall
Me and Marty
Street.
saw it a couple weeks ago when it came out.
Pineapple Express for sure. That's a
That's a
good
great,
one.
like this
yeah,
funny
like that.
movie.
What about Kid Cannabis? Any of you guys ever watched that?
Yeah, I watched Kid Cannabis.
Yeah.
I think I watched
That soundtrack of the movie.
I watched it
sick
years
too.
ago.
When I was 16 years old, that inspired me.
Were they like going through the border of Canada?
Yeah,
and that,
yeah.
Okay, I watched
Smuggling
that.
like the weed over.
They'd smuggle weed over Canada border.
like Washington, like area.
Yeah.
that was
Super
funny.
cool movie.
Yeah, it was a cool movie.
You?
Ooh, damn, Pulp Fiction probably hands down.
yeah.
The
How did I miss that one? That's
Cliche, but the replay value of that movie, it's just you get something fresh every time.
I had a class in college that like a philosophy class, and I had to talk about. We watched Pulp Fiction. I actually wrote an essay on it because it was.
What was your essay? This like the
Honestly,
thesis
I don't
about?
remember. I just remember watching it and doing the essay on a plane home from Colorado, and it was a winter class.
Just the writing of that's just so fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
What's the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio? I thought it was a Christopher Nolan movie forever, but it's not. It's so basically it starts out they're like riding the ship in. He's a detective to this island and
Shutter Island. I've never seen the whole thing.
Oh, you never seen the whole thing?
Never seen the whole thing.
You can't watch part of it because the ending is like what?
I already know the twist.
Okay,
I'm gonna spoil it for
I remember when
you.
the first time I watched it, I had to like go outside and breathe after. I was so invested into it, and it threw me for such a loop. I just had to like take a deep breath outside after that movie.
I'm honestly the worst movie watcher. I can't. My
Sorry.
ADD, I'll be on my phone or.
I do movies over TV shows. TV
I'm
shows.
opposite.
Well, TV
Less
shows to me is
commitment.
too much investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless
I
it's
love
gotta
TV
be
shows.
like I'm usually like when people are like, oh, watch this series. I watch it like 5 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't commit. If something's one season, I can maybe commit to it. But anything longer than that.
What about Breaking Bad? Anybody?
When I was younger, I had time to like watch longer shows.
So
but
at
like,
nighttime, like 9 o'clock at night, me and my girlfriend watched some TV show like every night, pretty much.
you watch Lincoln Lawyer.
You
put me on
I just
that.
finished Lincoln Lawyer last night.
Yeah, it's good.
You
I
put
just
me on
finished
that.
it last night.
Matthew McConaughey movie
That's a solid movie.
that's based off of. Lucifer.
So there is a
Really
Lincoln
good.
Lawyer movie actually too.
Yeah,
Really
with
good.
McConaughey.
Yeah, it's really good. I
McConaughey's
heard it.
just a good actor.
Do you read books?
I need to read more.
You want to know what a good book is? Really easy. I even gave it to my mom to read, and she loved it.
Bronze Age Pervert? I'm kidding.
Matthew McConaughey, Green Lights. It's like kind of just him talking about his life. And
You read it, right, Marty?
experiences.
I've read some of it.
Yeah, that's a good book. It's like you learn a lot from it. Like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. I like the way he thinks. I like the way he lived his life very free and just like took some risks and things like that. I don't know. It was a good book. It's a really easy read. I enjoyed it a lot.
I
That's a
mean,
good
he
one.
makes bangers for movies.
Yeah.
He's got a hot wife. He's got a nice family.
Mr. Texas, right?
Yeah.
I think he has like a
Longhorns,
venture
baby.
capital fund now and everything. Yeah.
What about Rich Dad Poor Dad?
I never read it.
Me
Wow.
neither.
Believe it or
I
not.
read that book when I was 17 years old, and it changed everything once I read it.
I've heard.
Dude's brilliant.
It's too late now. You're too in deep now. But,
Yeah, but-
as a 17-year-old, I think every 17-year-old should read that because it really teaches you what assets will do for you over gaining an income from a wage job. Like, it really just hit me at a young age.
Yeah, that was probably a good time to.
Yeah. Yeah, I was right out of high school. I read that book before college and was like, what am I doing here?
Go
Most
ahead.
profound book I've read, probably, in hindsight.
We're reading a good one right now.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a second. I'll probably, you go first. What's a good one?
I feel like we should start doing like reading the same books as
Yeah.
each other. We're reading .com Secrets by Russell Brunson right now.
I heard that's good.
Just like all
heard that's
sales
fucking
funnels.
good.
It's really good.
We're both on like 70 to 100 in
Okay.
the page, but like
Yeah.
in the first like 30 pages, I was like, I got $10,000 worth of value
Yeah.
right here. Like this is going to make me this information I got in the first 30 pages. I'm going to make $10,000 because of this.
Any book like that, it's just like, I try
Yeah.
to take one nugget away from it when it's like informative.
Exactly. I was checking out at Wawa and I was like, holy shit, like this book just taught me this. Like they're upselling me on iced coffee. I'm like, holy
And it's
crap.
so subtle. But
Yeah, it's so subtle.
designed intentionally.
Yeah. So like we implemented something similar to that to like our
Mm-hmm.
funnels because of that book. Like he did it and then I started reading the book and I was like, holy shit. Like,
Let's double down on it.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it is. Like if you're ordering at Sheetz or like a Wawa,
Yeah.
you hit like I want this sandwich, but then it's like, do you want this with it? And like, I bet 70% of the time they get someone to get the tater tots with it
Yeah.
or some shit,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's a
I gotta
one-time
ask.
order or whatever.
Sheets or Wawa?
I actually,
Dude, I just discovered Sheets today and I said to Andy,
you didn't know, you didn't know.
This is new territory for you.
yeah,
down
this is
here.
way new territory. I was like, Andy, what the fuck is Sheets?
I screenshotted it right away.
I was like, bro, what the fuck? Because I spend a lot of time at the Jersey Shore, so there's
Yeah.
Wawa everywhere down there.
Oh, yeah, no, that's like
And,
super
like-
east, like coast, like Philly,
Yeah.
Jersey.
So I stopped to use
Type of thing.
the restroom on the way here, and I was like, dude, like, what is this place? Like, it's just a giant gas station, like, so clean. And then he made it, yeah, it's just like
I'm a
Wawa.
Sheets guy.
You're a Sheetz guy?
On my way home, I'll stop at Sheets.
I was a Sheetz guy. I've been slowly transformed to a Wawa. I think the food, like the sandwiches, are like a little bit better at Wawa, to be honest.
I'm a big coffee guy. Wawa has great coffee.
I
They
feel
do
like
have
I'm
good
going
coffee.
against my area though by saying that. I feel like I have to say it quietly. Like
Well, Marty's signaling for last call. I think we could go probably another freaking 2 hours. but-
probably.
What
Yeah, I
else?
was having a good. I'm just getting warmed up.
Oh, go!
I'm just kidding. We're good.
Anything else you guys want to like lead it off of?
I don't know. I just enjoy just talking about business, everything. Like I don't know. I just enjoy talking to you guys, having a good time. I'm glad we did this. This is fun.
Yeah, it's my first
appreciate-
podcast. It was a great time.
I call
You
podcast
did well.
I did good?
business therapy. This is business therapy.
business
It's just
therapy.
like, yeah.
Maybe we'll
What?
call this the business therapy.
So I was telling
episode.
people last night I'm gonna be in a podcast, but I didn't tell anyone what it was because I wanted to wait till I did it first. Yeah, a little skittish.
His dad thought it was going to be live streamed.
Yeah, my dad. Yo, we're eating lunch and my dad's calling me like, "Yo, when's the podcast gonna be on?" I'm like, "Dude, it's not live stream."
I told you about like my old man going in the one next week.
Yeah.
Low key, he's like nervous as shit. I told him like, dude, act like it's like nobody.
Yeah.
You're talking to a fucking like kid like younger than us, like our age, and like there's nothing to be nervous about.
Yeah.
He's got like 130, 140,000 subs. That's all.
But it's only the first 5 minutes, right? Like the first 5 minutes might be hard for somebody, but after that, he'll
Like I
settle
screwed
in.
up in the first 5 minutes, but now I'm good.
Yeah, you settle in.
No, you got way more
I
comfortable.
want to do
Just
another one.
it. We'll do a follow up at some point. But other than that, Stryker Digital, Andy, Bodhi, fucking pleasure. Thanks for coming to York.
Thanks for
We're
having
gonna hit the
us.
York
Thanks for
circuit
having us.
after this. Well, cheers and wrap up on there.
Cheers.
Click.
Cheers.
Thank you, everybody.